These are the new Moondrop Space Travel 2. It comes in two new colors, and yes, it still doesn't have any lid just like the first gen. They're actually exactly the same size. So if you have your old leather case, or you can also get this new transparent magnetic case, you can use them on any of the earbuds here. That aside, the new internal upgrades makes it better in so many ways that once again makes it claim the top spot in the sub $30, even sub $50 earbuds. Let's get started. Selamat pagi, good morning everyone, Kenneth here, and welcome to my review of the Moondrop Space Travel 2. As always, this is my own honest opinion, so it would really help me if you buy through the affiliate links in the description or in my ratings list. I try to include most regions like Amazon India and Syngent Audio for most countries. And about the Space Travel 2, I've also seen discounts already to $25, which is really incredible value, so thank you so much for your support. So, you might be wondering what's new on the Space Travel 2. In a nutshell, we're getting a completely new chip with slightly better ANC and better power efficiency, actually much better. So with the same exact battery capacity as the OG Space Travel, we're instead getting 7 hours of playtime, or around 6 hours with ANC on in my experience. And that's perfectly enough now, with also Bluetooth 6 in the list as well, although it doesn't have location tracking features that I detailed in this video. It also doesn't have LE audio or LC3 codec, though it supports normal gaming mode. But that might be asking too much, because remember, this is a budget $30 earbud that even a few years back, I would be happy if it makes any decent sound and doesn't have any pairing problems. So crazy how time flies, we're now getting multi-point, because yes, this can finally do it. There's new driver material as well with new tuning, and also parametric EQ that unlocks insane potential along with improved microphone quality. So you know the drill, stay tuned till the end because something is coming. Okay, let's discuss the sound quality through song examples here, and starting with Best Part of Me by Ed Sheeran, a simple yet beautiful song. Immediately I noticed the brighter upper mid on the OG Space Travel, and while I happen to like this kind of sound, the Space Travel 2 does have fuller vocal body and puts it more forward in the mix, while the two EQs in the app adjust the balance with center point at 500 Hz. So you can see with the bass minus EQ, the upper frequencies go up a little bit while the lower frequencies go down. The bass plus, on the other hand, makes it go the other way around. It's a nice balanced sound, slightly more spacious and noticeably better separation compared to the OG Space Travel, but to be honest, I personally prefer less bass and much more presence in the lower treble, which I can make with the online interactive DSP. First introduced on the Moondrop Pill, I really think this is a game changer because you're getting a view of the frequency response graph in real time, and that really helps confirm what you hear. So yes, I've created another custom EQ called Vocals here, which you can find by searching in the Moondrop app, and I lowered the mid bass to mid range, retaining the sub bass punch and clear highs. And you can tune this to your preference, whether you like a warm tone or a V-shaped tuning. This can make your wildest dreams come true, and the graph is real. For example, I tried to measure the Harman Target Auto EQ and they look very similar. Speaking of which, this Harman EQ showcases the capability of Space Travel 2 driving bass if you wanted to. Like in Hot Sauce by Baby Monster, it delivers equal bass punch to the highly regarded Rose Elsa Ceramics X. But as you can see in this graph, my problem with Rose Elsa is it only has 3 EQ presets, and don't get me wrong, they sound very fun, but my preferred rock EQ, which is very V-shaped and that bright treble extension, can sound tiring after a while. It does have pop EQ that lowers the treble down, so it sounds much warmer with that huge bass boost, but my problem is you cannot really lower that bass, and thus limits my recommendation for those looking for more balance and clear sound, despite having a very solid feature set. Now, let's compare it to more expensive earbuds, starting from the $40 Tongim Mino that I praise for its parametric EQ capability. As you can see in the graph, the Tongim by default sounds very bright, although this time it's more on the upper mid to presence region, not on the treble end. So in this J-Rock song by Superfly, it really highlights the vocals and violin strings. While the Space Travel 2, on the other hand, sounds warmer. Vocal takes a step back, but it creates more space for the instruments to shine. Like I can notice the fill-in electric guitar parts in the pre-chorus easier on the Space Travel 2, making it sound more balanced overall. Having said that, at this point, I think both sounds great, and it's a matter of preference as both have similar technicalities, but when you see the Space Travel 2 that can get as low as $25, I really think the choice is a no-brainer. I have to point out that the Tanjim does not have multi-point, while fortunately the Moondrop Mocha has it in a recent firmware update. Also, sound quality still is slightly clearer and more detailed on the Mocha here thanks to that extra brightness on the 1.5K to 8K frequency, though my custom EQ closes this gap somewhat on the Space Travel 2. So the few reasons to get Mocha over the Space Travel 2 is just now wear detection, wireless charging, and most importantly, way better ANC because Space Travel 2 only improves a bit on its single feed forward ANC. So it is better than OG Space Travel, but only very slightly where it blocks a little bit more low end without really touching the mid to upper frequency noises like background music or people chatter. Not that I expect it to at $30 to be honest, but is that worth twice the price going to the Moondrop Mocha? Now, that's something a little bit harder to recommend. And while we're here, I want to touch the unfortunate downgrade of transparency mode here, which was perfectly fine on past Moondrop earbuds. Except this time it kind of sounds like you're listening through a tin can. So it accentuates the upper frequency noise like fan, windy, whirring sound, making it more noisy than it actually is. So the pass-through doesn't sound as natural anymore. I find myself taking out the earbuds a lot when talking to anyone with the Space Travel 2. Fortunately, you can skip this mode entirely by disabling transparency option in the app. So you only toggle between ANC on and ANC off, which brings us to the controls and the lack of customization. This has been the case with other Moondrop earbuds, so I just wanted to say in this regard, things like Tanjim, Rose Celsa, or more established brands like Nothing, Soundcore, Soundpeats, there's no volume control, and if you double tap on the left earbud, whether you're using in mono or stereo, it's always going to trigger previous song. But I do very much appreciate the audible beep feedback that comes with every tap. That started from the Moondrop Pill, and 4 taps for game mode on any side is amazing. Because just like the first gen, this has the lowest latency that SBC codec could get, which is 170 millisecond tested on iPhone. Of course, that number already includes the phone latency, so that's the real number you'll get when gaming in real conditions, where the claimed 55 millisecond is purely on the earbuds by itself. Some last things I wanted to mention is the increased touch area that now covers the whole 2/3 of the stem right here, so you don't have to tap the very top part anymore. Then if you check out my rating sheet, this has slightly more detail than the Earphone Air Pro 4 here, the top #1 of my recommendation, and overall much better tuned than Soundcore Liberty 5, Nothing Ear A here that I'm reviewing, and also the Soundpeats Air 5 Pro. And that might seem crazy, but I'll get into more detail in their own reviews. Finally, connectivity wise, this performs similar to the Moondrop Pill, where if I put my phone on first floor, it stutters a second on the stair, goes back normal, and then stutter one more time on the studio, then goes back normal, probably just to adjust the bit rate. And last but not least, I want to share multi-point that's turned off by default, so you have to turn on the One Bring 2 option in the app. But like I said, it's very nice to see at $30 price point. Practically the only other earbud that has it was the Rode Ceramics X, and it works perfectly. So yeah, let's check out the mic test right now. All right, welcome to the microphone test, everyone. Here we are now recording with the Moondrop Space Travel 2, and basically it has a built-in NPU or AI noise cancellation hardware built in the earbuds, just like Moondrop Pill. So what do you think of the sound quality? It is actually much improved from the Moondrop Space Travel 1 that we're going to test. All right, so here we are now recording with the Moondrop Space Travel 1. What do you think of the sound quality difference? Has it improved a lot? And here we are now at my usual outdoor recording with 2 outdoor AC units turned on right now. So let's hear that right now through the iPhone microphone. All right, so this is the kind of noise that these 2 earbuds have been dealing with. So what do you think of the improvement? I really welcome it at this point because budget earbuds have never really put focus on the microphone. But yeah, here comes the good news that I sound like a broken record again. I partnered with Syngent Audio to give away 2 more space travel 2s, and all you have to do is just leave a comment of your thoughts of the new space travel 2 and make sure to use the word space travel. That's the keyword to enter this giveaway. More details will be shared in the description box. Make sure you put your Instagram @account there so I can contact you if you win. That's very important. If I cannot contact you, then I cannot contact you. So that's pretty much it for the review. I wish you good luck. I'm Kenneth, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.